We moved to Maplewood Estates, thinking it would be a quiet, peaceful place to raise our daughter. The neighborhood was beautiful, tree-lined streets, perfect lawns, friendly waves from porch swings. But what no one told us was that behind the perfectly trimmed hedges lurked the true terror of suburbia. The HOA president, Karen Bishop. Karen was exactly what you'd expect from someone named Karen. She wore oversized sunglasses like armor, marched around with a clipboard, and took notes on everything. If your trash can was an inch too far from the curb, she noticed. If your car sat in the driveway for more than 2 nights, she'd send a violation. And heaven forbid you ignored her when she knocked on your door. That was personal. My wife Julia is the calmest woman you'll ever meet. Elegant, composed, and never the type to raise her voice. But here's what most people didn't know. Julia was also the chief of police for our county. And Karen had no idea. It started with a knock more, like a bang on a Sunday morning. Julia was folding laundry, I was in the garage fixing the mower, and our daughter was upstairs blasting music. We didn't hear the door. Apparently, Karen had come to discuss our violation for having our porch lights on at the wrong time. No one answered. She stood out there for 10 full minutes, ringing the bell like it owed her money. Then she left, but not quietly. 15 minutes later, 2 patrol cars pulled into our driveway. Now imagine the look on Julia's face when she opens the door to her own officers. Standing stiff, hands on belts, looking awkward as heck. One of them, Officer Daniels, stammered, Chief. We got a call from a resident saying someone inside was refusing to answer the door, possibly harboring illegal tenants." Julia blinked. Illegal tenants? For not answering the door? Karen was standing on the sidewalk, arms folded like she'd just won a battle. "You finally came out," she shouted, strutting toward our porch. "I told them something shady was going on." She wouldn't open the door. Who knows who's living in there? Julia kept her cool. "Ma'am, you've called the police because we didn't answer the doorbell?" Karen scoffed. "Well, people who have nothing to hide don't ignore the HOA president." That's when Officer Daniels cleared his throat and said the magic words. "Ma'am, this is Chief Julia Hartman. She runs this entire department." Karen blinked. Twice, her smug expression cracked like a dropped plate. "What?" she asked, voice suddenly weak. Julia stepped forward, badge visible at her hip, arms calmly crossed. "And unless you're accusing me of a crime, this conversation is over." Karen opened her mouth, closed it again, then muttered something about just doing her duty, and stormed off like a cartoon villain. But Julia wasn't done. The next day, she requested the full police report. It turns out Karen had filed multiple false reports over the past year, racially profiling visitors, harassing delivery drivers, and even demanding wellness checks on neighbors she didn't like, all under the guise of HOA concern. Julia called an emergency meeting with the city attorney and the HOA oversight board. 2 weeks later, Karen was removed from her position, effective immediately. Turns out, misusing emergency services is a serious offense. Karen was fined, placed under community supervision, and banned from holding any leadership role within the HOA ever again. Her clipboard confiscated in our neighborhood. It breathed a collective sigh of relief. People started coming forward stories about being bullied, threatened, or ticketed for made-up rules. But now they weren't scared, because they knew someone had their back. Julia didn't rub it in. That's not her style. But every now and then, she walks past Karen's house, gives a polite wave, and keeps moving badge shining in the sunlight. Because sometimes justice doesn't wear a cape. Sometimes she folds laundry and drinks chamomile tea, and runs the police department.